Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Laura and I'm a first year vet student in the graduate entry program at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, UK. Last year in 2022, I attended online MMI for both RVC in Edinburgh and I got into both schools. So today I will be talking about extremely useful MMI preparation techniques and I hope you find this useful and let's get started. I will divide this video in 4 sessions. First, I will talk about what MMI is, and then I will talk about MMI format used by the Royal Veterinary College and the Edinburgh Veterinary College. Third session is all about how I practice MMI scenario and how I structure my answers. And the last session is about all the resources that I use for my interview preparation. MMI stands for Multiple Mini Interview. It is used by many vet and medical schools as part of their application process. It usually consists of 6 to 8 stations. For Edinburgh Vet School, the MMI will consist of 7 stations that are 10 minutes long. 5 out of the 7 stations will have an interviewer. Here are the stations listed on the school website. For work experience, they will focus on your previous vet and animal experience. You need to prepare this beforehand and make sure to think about few cases that you encounter in the clinic that are the most memorable to you. What did you learn from them? And then we have career exploration and awareness of being a professional. You could think about your vet experience in the clinic. Did it give you a deeper insight into the veterinarian profession? What are important qualities of a veterinarian? What challenges do vet face in the clinic? And why do you want to be a vet? And for awareness of animal welfare, for this station, make sure to do research about some hot topics in veterinary medicine. For example, the use of animals in food production, humane slaughter of farm animals, cat declawing and tail docking, the use of animals in research, zoos, etc. For the moral and ethical dilemma station, I will talk about that in session 3. For the RVC interview, they don't have much information provided on their official website. Last year, I had my RVC interview online and it had 6 stations. The interview format was slightly different in Edinburgh. This is what I found online and I think it can give you a decent overview of the MMI format for RVC. Okay, now moving on to the next section, I will be talking about how I prepare for my MMI interview. My first tip is to create a structure that you can use to answer MMI questions regarding to moral or ethical dilemma. My structure is to first identify the main concern or the pressing issue in the scenario, then identify the stakeholder who are either directly or indirectly involved in the situation, and you need to understand your position and your responsibility and make sure you don't cross boundaries. For example, if the question stated that you're a volunteer in the clinic, you need to make sure not to give any medical advice to clients, and that's the vet's responsibility. After that, you need to come up with a solution and make sure to use if-then statement to list out your action plans and the possible outcomes. Here is an example from the vet ethics book written by Rollin. The questions in the actual MMI is not likely to involve those medical terms, and this is just an example for you to understand my answer structure. Okay, in this scenario, the most important issue here is that the cow is suffering from cancerous eye and she needs treatment. But you must take into consideration of your client's perspective while deciding the best treatment for the cow. And before you talk to your client, it is really important to think about all the parties that are involved in this scenario and show the interviewer all your thinking process. First, you need to consider the client's perspective. Maybe they have financial difficulty, maybe they didn't realize that the cow is suffering from cancerous eye. And then, in the cow's perspective, the cow is undergoing a lot of pain and medical treatment is needed to relieve her pain. And now think about your position as a vet. Your primary professional obligation is to the animal and you want to relieve the suffering and distress the cow is going through right now. Other viewpoints that you can briefly mention is the vet profession and the society. If you absolutely did nothing in this scenario and just left the cow untreated, how would other people think about you? Now considering everything, you can come up with action plans using if-then statements. If the client didn't realize that the cow is suffering from cancer's eye, then you can educate them and let them know about the situation. If the client has financial concern, then you can suggest alternative treatments that can help to relieve the pain and suffering the cow is undergoing right now. My second advice is to practice MMI in front of the camera. Record yourself, rewatch your recording, and then take notes on the mistakes that you've made in that video, and then you make improvements based on that. This is how I improve and how I become more confident talking to interviewers, and I think it is the best advice that I can give to anyone who is preparing for their MMI. My third advice is to attend mock MMI. If your school offers MMI workshop, make sure to participate because that's the opportunity where you can get feedbacks from professor or vet students and you can refine your answer that way. And also you can practice with friends and family members so that they can also offer you feedbacks. In this last section, I'm going to talk about all the resources I used for MMI preparation. The first book I recommend is the MMI Prep by BMO. The MMI structure that I mentioned previously came from this book, and I only made a slight modification so that it fits my situation better. The book provides simple questions and responses and is really helpful for me to think in multiple perspectives, so my answers are more comprehensive. The book taught me to never make assumptions of the situation and always remain non-judgmental. I think the way we approach MMI questions is also very helpful for us to solve our real-life problems. The other book is this vet ethics book. The book is divided into two parts. It has a series of problem-based situations related to veterinary medicine, and they came from the Canadian Veterinarian Journal. Each question has a response, but the answer he provided can get quite philosophical sometimes. I only used the answer as a reference, and it did offer me a good perspectives for some questions. The theory part is philosophical at the beginning, so if you don't have enough time to read the book, you can skip to the animal ethics and welfare chapter, which are highlighted in the red here. The other vet ethics book with purple cover is optional, and I bought it just for leisure read. If you're working or volunteering in a clinic, you could ask to borrow and read their vet magazines because they cover hot topics in veterinary medicine, animal ethics and welfare, and articles about vet-client-patient relationship, client compliance, compassion fatigue, and I think it can provide extra information about this profession. Sometimes I also like to go to the CVMA website, which is the Canadian Veterinary Medical Association website, and other veterinary association websites to read their legislation and look for the position statements about animal welfare. There is also this podcast called Uncharted Veterinarian Podcast that I like to listen to. It is mostly about practice management, but it covers topics like how to deal with angry clients, how to give feedback, and I found that really interesting to listen to. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Good luck on your interview, and you can do it. You can.